kind of main updates for today. So we, I think in the last call, we're talking about the Trinity Challenge application. So we submitted an application for funding through that. I think they had about 350, more than 350 applications. And unfortunately, we didn't make it through to the next round. I think we've had a look at some of the finalists. They definitely have strong ideas. We got some feedback from the reviewers, so they definitely saw strengths of what we're doing, and that it definitely deals with pain points that people have around research use cases, policy guidelines, etc. So they definitely did see it as a strong idea, but I think they also would have wanted to see more detail around how it would be used in a specific context. So, you know, in responding to a pandemic, and I think we were quite broad in our description of it and how it works. And I think they would prefer more focus on responding to a pandemic and how it would be useful to people responding. And I think they also weren't clear on our sustainability and kind of going forward. So it's unfortunate, but I mean, it's good learning experience for us, and we've got information that we can use to make subsequent applications stronger. So we're currently working on an application for MIT Solve. They have a global pandemic health and security application. So deadline for that is tomorrow. So we're just putting together the final parts of that application. But I think an important point for us is that these applications aren't, we're not linking HealthECCO's existence to these funding applications. We very much want HealthECCO to have a future regardless of the outcome of these. I think they would certainly help us to get further faster, but we're definitely still going to be around, and we're still going to be pushing ahead. And to that end, we are in the final stages of registering HealthECCO as a non-profit organization. So the kind of articles of association and various bits of paperwork are now being put together and just working their way through the system. So we don't have a timeline on that yet, because some of these things can take time. But as soon as we know more, we'll of course be posting on social media or updating the next call. But once we have HealthECCO set up, I think that gives us more to be working with in terms of creating things sustainably, looking more at how we can get alternative funding streams, you know, whether we can be going out for donations, working on funding collaboration things with organizations. So we've got various avenues we can explore through the non-profit just to give us that stable kind of future and work from that. We're also still talking to some of the Trinity Challenge members. So we started some good conversations with the Clinton Health Access Initiative and Dr. Evidence. Martin, I don't know if there's anything you want to say on any of those conversations, or but we're still kind of actively exploring what we can do with them, because I think that regardless of any funding, they are very well placed as organizations to help us start achieving some of the things we want to do with HealthECCO and COVID Graph. So we will continue to respond to any inquiries that come in and kind of actively seek out people who want to make use of HealthECCO or can help us to improve it. And alongside that, we've got other things that internally we're exploring in terms of new applications or applications we can reuse from elsewhere. So we are still very active in the background, even though there's not so much that might be visible on Twitter or the main group. And as I was saying at the start, we maybe want to also look at how we can start to have more of those conversations in a more public forum and encourage more feedback from a wider community, and just kind of spark a bit more discussion. Because our feeling is that there are people out there who are interested in supporting HealthECCO and contributing to it. We just need to kind of connect with them and keep them engaged. So we're definitely working towards that. So that's a very quick run through of our kind of various updates and things we have going on, but happy to discuss anything or answer any questions if you've got anything you want to raise.
May I ask a question to Kirsten? How complicated is it to reuse your Cypher scripts to query clinical trials government for more clinical trials, or is that restricted?
No. You can you mean if I can extend the queries, Cypher queries, or? Yeah, that I can do. I can do, there's sometimes a limit to, processing time, but you could search on other things than COVID and studies, so you can search across many different kinds of domains. Yeah, there's
what I meant
research.
is, do we have a limitation of API calls per hour, per day, per second?
I don't think so. There's a limit to, you can get 1,000 JSON back at a time, but I've made it so that it loops. So first it makes a call for a specific query, and then it returns the total number of studies, and then based on that it loops 1,000 each. So it
perfect.
should, yeah.
So what we could think of is to basically gather more and more clinical trials, and then to connect it to the rest of the publications and genes and stuff. But since we want to have it more wider than COVID-19, it would make sense to let the pipeline run for, I don't know, 1 or 2 days to get more and more clinical trials. I think we can set a filter to, let's say, the last 10 or 15 years. I guess before that, data acquisition was not that prominent, and I guess there's only part of the content. Martin, are you agreeing or disagreeing?
Yeah, so sometimes it's similar for publications, right? So sometimes I feel we might get better results if we kind of only use the data that was published until 20 years ago, because everything after that is overhyped and bullshit. But yeah, I have no idea. I mean, I have no idea how many clinical trials exist in the database, right? Maybe we can.
I can find out.
Because it's super interesting, right? Because hopefully towards the end of July, we can go from the current COVID-19 related publication data set to the full PubMed data set. I think that will need some time. Tim is not here, but we need some more evaluation of the code. It's so much data. But I think in July, let's say mid to end of July, we should be there. And if we can have all clinical trials, why not?
I think when I actually did a script where I expanded to all clinical trials, so I took the COVID field out, or the COVID search item out, and it did. I think the problem with when I tested it, it was more my Neo4j database that was getting slower and slower. So that was my problem. But I can give you, I think I can query how many there are of certain, with a certain, this number in CTID.
That would be interesting.
Yeah.
And if it's then about Neo4j performance tuning, we'll find a way.
Okay.
For sure.
Yeah.
Because then, I mean, if we have full PubMed and full clinical trials, then we don't have any COVID-19 specific data. Right? So then we can kind of grow from COVID graph to, we still don't have a name. We tend to call it everything graph, medicine graph, the graph. We'll find a good name.
Yeah. And I think it will be interesting not only to connect the clinical trials to the publications, but also to the other entities, right? There's so much information like medication or chemicals or gene knockout or whatever that we can put together. Also from BCD, we have some new data sources, as we have gene variants and also traits and phenotypes. So I guess there can be really interesting connections between the data sources.
A completely different question. I went into the what is it called? Why works? There's a browser you can have a look, and I found it really difficult to browse in there to find what can I search for. Just I was really stupid, didn't do a lot of homework maybe. So I just went in, and then I thought I could find something with the studies that I put in or been contributing to, but I think that was a little difficult. So I don't know if anybody else.
And what was it? Just the initial search that wasn't bringing anything?
Yeah, you get onto the page, and then it's like, okay, what can I type in?
Yeah.
I don't really know what I can,
Yeah, that's a good feedback. So there's clinical trials. Let me try that.
Can you share your screen? Because I can't.
Yes, but it's not working. The query did not return any results. So yeah, we have to.
There we have it. Okay, then it's not because I didn't do anything stupid.
No, good that you mention it because I never touched that. That's a good question.
It's a good point, because most of the stuff we do starts with a gene usually, right? With a gene name. And if you search for a gene, you can right click on the gene, and there are shortcuts like load related pathways, load mentioning patterns, but there's no direct way or no right click on a gene, show trials.
No. But I also thought it could be, if you go in, if you research, it might make sense that you write something, but I didn't know any genes. Yeah, I also did that. I looked at one of the videos that we had when I can't recall, it was you, Martin, who presented it. So,
but obviously the clinical trials doesn't work.
No, you can't search for anything.
So what if you want to look for a publication or something, Because there is the genes, the drop down you have to your left side. Then it's a little.
Yeah. So I mean, it's a lot of it is just right clicking and kind of adding.
Yeah, but if you look at the drop down, you have the genes, and then I think you can pick something else, right? You can pick and then you need something, and then okay. Yeah. Okay.
I was just wondering if it was related to when the queries changed, because the database changed. But I don't know if Sebastian's already sorted that out.
Yeah. So Kirsten obviously found a bug and not a feature. So it's not a feature that we do not return any clinical trial.
Same for publications, so you can't search. Or let's say you don't find anything.
What would you type here then?
Publications work.
I don't know what would be the title of a.
Exactly.
Lung disease.
Or I put in what else? Pfizer, Sanofi, something. I don't know. What would you then look for?
I don't know if that's maybe not working.
Then put in Germany. That could be a country. I don't know. No.
Kind of looks like the query is not.
So what I tried is I tried to select publications and then I just entered lung as a word, and that worked.
Publication, yes. Clinical trials, no.
Exactly, clinical trials is not working at all. So we have to ask Sebastian for what's going on.
Yeah.
Because usually that should work. But I don't use the YWorks Explorer so much. I usually directly go to Neo4j browser and type in cipher queries. That's why I didn't recognize that bug.
Yeah. Yeah, so we'll have to check with Sebastian on that.
Yeah. So, Kirsten, you're a bug finder.
I am. That's actually my job. A lot of what I do is finding bugs in software.
Very good. And these are very important tasks.
Yeah.
Because usually, as a developer, you only go for the most straightforward applications or the most straightforward workflows.
Yeah.
Well, we're also just in the process of putting together a bug tracking form. So
okay. They have these business forms in Jira. I don't know if you use Jira, but you can make a business form in some of the Jira projects if you use that. And that's nice. Okay.
It's just going to be a Trello board with Hipporello.
Oh yeah. It's the same thing, basically. Yeah. Well, that also works nicely.
Yeah. We're just setting that up. And hopefully that's also then a central point where ideas and things can be more visible and accessible to the wider community. All right, we'll check with Sebastian on that one. And
yeah. Okay.
Cool.
Sounds good.
Cool.
All right. So, unless there's anything else, I think that's us for today. So thanks for jumping in.
Thanks for joining, Kirsten.
You're welcome. I will find how many clinical trials there are and write to you guys, so you know how much there. Doesn't take long to find, I think.
All right.
Thanks.
Excellent. All right. So we'll be in touch.
Enjoy the afternoon.